Hi, my name is James Moore Jr. and welcome back to my channel. A couple of weeks ago, I uploaded a video of me doing a speech called You're Lucky to Be Here. I redid this speech because the prior speech, I forgot a few points that I really wanted to make in the video, and so it was a little short. Our speeches are supposed to be in between 5 to 7 minutes, and that one was only 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah. So in this video, I made sure that I hit my points. I did a little hack. I figured since I have my phone set up on a tripod and I can't really look at my phone to kind of go over the points of my speech, I'll just bring a little note card that has my points on it. So that way I can study it before I go up to speak. So that way they're more cemented in my mind and the speech came out great. So without further ado, here is take number 2 of You're Lucky to Be Here.
You're ready, James? So it's going to be James, you're lucky to be here. James Moore, you're lucky to be here.
Do you know how lucky you are to be here? I'm not just talking about here at Toastmasters. I'm talking about here on planet Earth. Do you know how you got here? It took 2 people to create you. It also took 2 people to create the people who created you. If you go up 5 generations, that's 32 people who had to connect in order to create the people who made you. Does that not blow your mind? Now, if you really want to be surprised, go up 10 generations. That's 1,024 people who had to come together to create you. Let that sink in for a moment. I know some of you probably have kids right now. And to think you had to connect with someone to create that generation. But I want to go a little bit further. I want to ask a question. How many breaths have you taken today? Anyone? Yeah. How many heartbeats have you had today? It's amazing how our bodies naturally keep us alive without us having to think about the main things that keep us alive. We have so much going on in this environment, in our world, that our minds has to make sense of. We have 5 channels that makes us evaluate our surroundings. We have taste. We have sight. We have hearing. We have feeling. And we have smell. All of this information is coming at you all at once, all the time. But your mind has the decency to not bombard you with everything that's happening at that moment. It only filters in what is needed to make sense of your world. You are so lucky to be here. There are so many people who could have been here but weren't because of events that took place that didn't allow that to happen. I had to ask my mom. I was like, Mom, how did you meet my dad? She goes, well, my cousin Susie was dating a guy named Clifford. And she said that she needed a friend to come along with him to meet her friend, or to meet his friend. So I went. I was like, oh, yeah? Well, how did that go? I didn't like him when I first met him. It's like, really? My dad? My dad has always been a charming guy to me. Every time he would take me out in public, I would see how women and men would just react around him. He was just that kind of charismatic guy. So I was like, really, Mom, you didn't like him? Well, so whenever she would go on other dates, she would always bring me along and there would be James and he just started growing on me. I was like, nah, that sounds like my dad. She goes, even when Susie and Clifford stopped dating, I continued to see James. And I thought about that one moment when she said that. If she decided not to see my dad when Susie and Clifford broke up, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have my verse in this universe. That kind of touched me for a moment. I was like, well, Mom, what made you continue to see Dad? Well, there was just something about him. I was drawn to him. And we just made a life together. I was like, that's touching. That's touching. Now, my moment has come. There was so many situations in my life prior to me moving to Florida that could have prevented me from being here to create my daughter, my next generation. I was not in a good place in Wichita, Kansas. I had a lot of things that I was involved in that took me to places that could have either got me killed, got me in prison, or I don't know what's worse than any of those, but it wasn't going good. But I had this feeling that I needed to be here. And things got into alignment to where my sister, who moved out here 10 years ago, she was married at the time. And her marriage fell apart. And she asked me, hey, brother, I know you've been wanting to change your life. Do you want to move out to Florida? Yes. Yes, I do. I jumped on that opportunity and I moved out here. Now that I have a wife and a child, which I never thought I would ever have. My mom used to ask me, son, when are you going to give me a grandchild? My favorite saying was, Mom, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. And it happened. And now I'm like, okay, what do I do? I got to step up. Just like you all have stepped up to help the next generation, I have to do so as well. So I challenge you, since I'm being challenged myself. How will I help the next generation with what they are going to be going through that we've already been through? Will you mentor someone? Will you help them see their pitfalls before they fall into the pit that you've already got out of? Will you be that voice of reason when they start to doubt themselves about their abilities, about their capabilities, about who they could truly be once they believe in themselves? That's what I'm challenged to do now that I have a daughter who likes to say, I can't, I can't. Yes, you can. Stop saying that. It's all up to us to help this new generation believe in themselves, to be better than we were, and they could be better than we could ever be. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful speech.
That was much better, right? If you haven't seen the first one, you can click right up here to see that video. There's a big difference, trust me. I even got better reviews from my fellow Toastmasters on that speech. One guy was like, I'm so glad you redid that speech. It was good the first time, but the second time was way better. I was like, thank you. Thank you. I incorporated the feedback and it turned out great. I believe it turned out great. It felt great when I was up there telling it. So if it feels great, then it's got to be great to you. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will be uploading more speeches that I do with Toastmasters and uploading more videos to help you with your communication. You can check out my playlist right here. Thanks again for watching. Peace.